Guys, welcome back. It's Wednesday, which means wood signs. Obviously I'm pumped up. I'm like talking a mile a minute. So we are going to do your favorites, wood round signs. This is going to be a little different. I'm going to show you a different technique in getting some wood grain out and making it a little different than your ordinary just wood round stained and painted. We are going to make this one fall. The design is going to be super easy. The florals are going to be super easy, you guys. I'm going to make this as easy as possible for you because I want the focus to be how beautiful the wood is. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, and I will show you how I stain the wood and to answer a few questions for you right off the bat, because I have everybody ask basically the same questions for the wood sign videos. I get the wood rounds at Home Depot if they're 17.5 inches. I feel like they're cheaper there. If I get a 15 or a 12 inch, I go to my local hardware store called Menards and I get them there. For sandpaper, I start with 80 grit sandpaper and then I smooth it out with 220 grit sandpaper. What's another question? I use the microfiber cloths. You could get that at your hardware store. They come in humongous bundles. They're about $10 and they last for so long. Now you guys, if you have any other questions, I did do a Q&A on wood signs, so make sure to go check that in my video. I will also link it right above here. And I'm going to start doing Q&As every last Wednesday of the month. So make sure you put that on your calendar. They're always going to be at 8 p.m. Central Time. So hopefully I'll see you there if you guys have any questions. And now let's go ahead and get into this. Here's the sign we're going to make today, you guys, with the instructions on how to make some felt flowers as well. So you guys, I'm using my Orbital Skill sander, and I am going to show you the brand of sandpaper I use. Brand doesn't really matter, but this is the 220 grit, and then I use the same brand in the 80 grit as well. Now you don't have to use these specific grits. I just use a nice rough grit and a nice smooth grit. The rough grit is going to get all of that grime, the dirt, the splinters, all of that stuff off. And then I use the smoother grit to just smooth it out so it's not rough. And so our application of stain or whatever we're going to use goes on smoother. So with your sander, you're just going with the grain of the wood, and make sure to sand the sides of these wood rounds. They are so rough. When I first started working on wood rounds, I wasn't sanding the sides, and putting stain on them is horrible. It looks so blotchy and gross. So make sure you're taking the time to sand the sides of your boards. And we are also sanding the back side as well. So pretty easy. And there you guys go, because I haven't shown this yet, but it's pretty simple. And then I'm just wiping all of that debris off, and we are going to move on to our really awesome, cool technique by torching our wood. You can do this with any wood, you guys, not just a wood round. And what you're doing is you're holding this torch very close to the wood. The further away you pull, the lighter these marks are going to be. The closer you are, the darker it's going to get. And you have to go really slowly, okay? This is actually a little sped up. I know it's kind of weird, but this is actually a little sped up. No, it's not. Losing my mind a little at a time. This is not sped up, but it's just a slow process. And keep in mind too, not every piece is going to have these awesome grains in them, so just go slower, and you can even make like your own marks to it. But if you want to use this technique, make sure you pick a board or a round or a piece of wood that has amazing wood grain in it so you could see it all, because I had about like 6 of these rounds downstairs, and I made sure to look through all of them to see which ones I thought this would show up well on. So again, go slowly. The further you pull away, the lighter it's going to be. The closer you get to it, the darker these lines are going to be. So I'm going to eventually speed this up. I mean, who knows when. You guys know I love torturing you by going a little slower every now and then. Any day now. Okay, I think we're doing it. I think we're going. Okay, there we go. So I am just doing the front of the board, you guys. I do not do the back in this. You can feel free to, but to be honest, it's added work when nobody's going to see it. Do I stain the back? Yes, but I do not torch the back of the wood. So we're going to finish that up. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at all that wood grain it brings out. It's just so beautiful. I did this technique making a bunch of like bottle openers and signs for Father's Day, and they looked so good. So now I'm just torching the sides of it, since obviously you would see that if you were looking at the sign. And then we need to wipe the sign down again because it does leave a debris, which I'll show you on this old t-shirt I'm using. So look at all that brown. You want that off. So make sure you're wiping your pieces in between sanding and torching. So now we're going to take our microfiber cloth. I am using Weathered Oak Stain by Minwax. And you guys, make sure Minwax and Varathane both make a weathered oak. They look completely different. So I prefer the Weathered Oak by Minwax because it just gives it a more natural look. The other one gave it too much color, the Varathane one. So I highly recommend the Minwax one. So do you see how it's just bringing out its natural colors? It's not really doing much to the actual color of the wood. I will tell you though, I wish I would have done early American stain to get a darker stain on this. I let my husband pick the stain. We're going to blame it on him today, okay? I let him pick the stain color, but as you'll see when we go on, I really wish I would have used early American for this sign. So if you do want to recreate this, highly recommend early American versus the Weathered Oak. And yeah, so we're going to stain the back because you want to make sure it looks as finished as possible. And it also kind of seals your wood in. It's an added layer of protection for your round. So go ahead and do that. Then we're going to let this dry overnight. This is an oil-based stain, so you want it completely dry. Look at how pretty my Momo is. Hi, Momo. Hi, you pretty girl. Yeah. Oh, my Momo. You're so old, huh? Pretty face. You like being in the sun, huh? Look at, oh, yeah. You're so beautiful. And now we're back. That's my Momo. Okay, so I'm taking my Helmsman. And you guys, I know this confused. Hold on, let me explain this first. So this is clear satin. It's water-based. And this I use on any of my outside signs. If it is inside, feel free to use polyacrylic, or you could use a matte spray. But you definitely need a different kind of clear if you are planning on putting a sign in the elements. So a lot of people were confused in my very first wood round video because I go in with a seal first. The reason I do this, and I want to explain, is I seal the back of my signs first because I seal and I do the D hooks, and I usually will put the ribbon on first before I start painting my design. And the reason I do this is because once my design is painted, I love the way it looks. I do not want to put my design face down again because there's debris that you don't know about. If you're using chalk paint, which I do all the time, if you leave a little like flake of the chalk paint and it gets on that board, it's not coming off. Like it just smears kind of like powder. So that is why I always do the back of my board first. That way I don't ever have to turn it around and put it face down on its design again. So I hope that kind of makes sense and clarifies it for you. But for here, we're just doing helmsman, chippy paintbrush, doing single strokes with the grain of the wood. And then we have to do our sides because we do not want any of that clear coat dripping down the sides. You guys, sorry if you watch these wood signs videos. They are repetitive, but I always have to talk like it's somebody's first time watching this. So, see that line I pointed to? These are the lines I'm talking about. Usually they're pretty distinct. Sometimes you have to look harder than others, but they are there for you. And these are nice straight lines, so use them to your advantage. So I'm lining up, I think this is like fabric, I forgot what it's called, but this is measuring tape I use. And I'm doing these 4 inches in on each side with my D-hooks. Now y'all, the D-hooks that I am using versus the one I have in my Amazon cart, I understand that they are smaller. These specific D-hooks, they are no longer for sale on Amazon. I can't find them anywhere. I've looked up the brand. The brand is on Amazon, but not these D-hooks. So the ones that I used, I did research. They are smaller, but they will work, I promise you. Okay, so made a design on my Cricut, you guys. How exciting is that? I'm getting better at it. And this is a very just simple one. I will probably have this on my Etsy page because I did design it myself, so I can sell it. Woo woo. And we are just going to take that off. I am using my, sorry, I have bells on my shirt if you guys can't hear. I need to stop playing with them. I am using the Oracle 651 permanent vinyl. I always use permanent vinyl when I am stenciling on top of stained wood. If I was putting this, I would never put this on top of paint because it would just rip all my paint off. But if I'm putting it directly onto a wood stain, this is the vinyl I'm going to use. It's strong. It never gives me bleeds. So this is my go-to. So then I'm going to get my painter's tape and I want to make sure I cover all of the little pieces that are showing on the sides because I am going to be using my roller as I usually do. And I don't want to have the chance of it getting on there. So this weekend I picked up Cashew by Waverly at Walmart. And for some reason, it was just calling to me for this sign and my dirty plates. And let's go. Okay, so roller, we're going to use this as I usually do. We are going back and forth using smooth coats. I am not pressing hard on my brush. I have very light paint on my roller because you guys, guess what? You can always put another coat on it. But if you go in too heavy with this, it's going to be blotchy. You could have a chance of pushing that paint underneath your vinyl, which you do not want. So go light with it. This is my second coat after the first coat dries. And as you see me do like right there, I go over it again with my roller because I don't want to leave any lines that the roller may have left over my letters. I hope that makes sense to you. So after that, we will go ahead. We're going to let that dry, y'all. I'm going to let that dry, let her dry. You'll know when chalk paint is dry because it will turn matte. You will see it like, it'll look wet basically if it's still wet, and it will look matte once it is dry. So now we're going to weed. I really like the Y, the tail on the Y on this. I love it. I don't know why. Okay, so here we go. Very cute. Sweet. All right, let's start on those felt flowers. So I got these from Arteza. Thank you so much, Arteza. I actually picked these out because I do make my own felt flowers. Now, this pack, you guys, it actually came with like, these are the stiffer pieces of felt, and then it also had on the very top about like 6 sheets of the really soft felt. It also came with like metallics, glitter. I mean, it was crazy how much was in here. But I had never made felt flowers with this stiffer felt before, so bear with me because it was my first time. I'm always trying something new in these videos. So if I make mistakes, that's probably why. And I guess I just want to sit here and I want to show you all this felt because it's just, I don't know why, you guys. I don't know. Let's just go through these. Let's pick. No, we don't want that tan color. That's not going to be very cute with this. I believe I decided to go with the gold color. Okay, maybe orange. Okay, so for this one, I'm just using a saucer plate. I'm marking a circle out of it. We're going to cut this circle out. Now make sure you cut inside your pin lines because your pin line or marker line will show on the tips of your flower if you do not. Now, all I'm doing, you guys, is cutting in a circle and making my way inside. And make sure, this is so hard. If you guys want to see felt flowers in real time, kind of like I did the bow video, let me know and I will, because it is kind of hard to explain it in like fast motion. So we are going to make a little cylinder in the middle of this. And then we are just, all we're doing is hot gluing and wrapping it around. This is so easy. For none of these, you guys, I didn't use a template or anything. I'm just eyeballing it and cutting it out. There is a woman, when I started making felt flowers, I watched on YouTube. I will link her down below. She is so good at felt flowers and she explains it way better than I could, that's for sure. Using Dollar Tree pearls, putting that in the middle. So that is going to be our flower number 1. I'm going to show you how to make a few of them right now. That is why this video is so long. And then I'm just cutting a circle and we're going to put this on the base of our flower because it is a little uneven and janky on the bottom. And we want a smooth surface for it to attach to our board. So this one, you guys, is probably about 4 inches wide. Again, eyeballing it. Then we're going to hot glue it together in a hot dog fold. And then all I'm doing is cutting down. Now be careful because you don't want to cut all the way through this. Hashtag Avi, right? And the longer you go, the bigger your flower's going to be. So that's why I'm using the entire length of this, which I believe is about 12 inches. And then once we get that, I'm going to get my little nifty tweezers. I think these are actually vinyl tweezers. And I'm just having it start my roll process here. And then we're just going to apply hot glue and roll it up. Roll it up. And there we go. And this one's going to give you a nice fluffy flower. See, look at how cute that one is. And my scissors, I need new scissors so bad because it was so hard cutting this felt. So look at how cute those are. Now, just remember, the bigger you make things, the bigger your flowers are going to be. So if you like used a smaller circle, you would have had a smaller flower. So for this one, we're cutting about 2-inch strips. And then we are going to cut that strip into 2-inch squares, as you can see me do. Now I'm going to go in with my scissors and I am free-handing cutting petals, starting from the bottom and working my way around and down. And you can obviously see those look like flower petals. You guys can, I'm pretty sure you can Google like paper flower stencils and stuff like that, and it will come up with a lot of things if you're not comfortable freehanding it. But I promise you it's easy. You just have to practice a couple of times. And I'm showing you guys this just so you can see how I glued the petals on. But we are not going to end up using this flower. You guys, this video took me like over like an hour and a half. And I think it was all on seriously the flowers because I changed my mind and I messed up so much. I'm not a pro, that's for sure. So I don't like how skinny this flower is because it doesn't, the petals don't stay out like that. So I needed a thicker center for this. So that's what we're going to do. I made this 1.5 strip. This is the Arteza stiff, I was going to say vinyl felt. And all I'm doing is cutting super, super thin lines down. And then I'm going to twist this up. And this is going to be the new center to our gray flower. I don't know what kind of flower that is. We'll call it the awesome flower. Okay, so that looks so much thicker than the previous one that was inside of there. So I literally ripped the flowers off, and I'm going to just hot glue that, and then we have room to stick our last petal that I had made. So it all worked out, and it turned out so much better. So never think you're stuck, you guys. Just rip it off and start again. That's all you got to do. And color-wise, the possibilities are endless. You could just have so much fun with felt flowers. If you go to the Facebook business page, I made so many for Mother's Day frames, and they were so pretty. All right, let's see. What other one are we gonna make? Yeah. All right, that's looking good. That's looking good. Like those colors. Play around as you go with it, you guys. So this is what I'm talking about, smaller flowers. So I'm cutting a smaller circle out, again, cut inside your pin line. And then as I'm going towards the center of this, I'm kind of cutting in waves. See how I'm just cutting in waves? I'm not following any pattern. I'm just kind of going in, out, and then leaving like a small little circle in the middle so I can start that little cylinder I told you about. And then, like we did with the previous one, all we're gonna do with it is glue and keep wrapping around and wrapping around. And this is exactly why actually I had bought this specific Sure Bonder glue gun, was because Mother's Day I was using my Big Daddy one, and I kept burning my finger because it was putting out so much hot glue. It was way hotter than this one, and that's why I got the detailed one, which worked out so good. All right, so putting a little base on this guy, and look at how cute she be, okay? And then I couldn't find the green I wanted for leaves. Sorry, my kids are playing upstairs. So I thought this gold would be a fun little pop of color, and y'all know I'm a little extra, so it just works out perfectly. And love it. The only thing I didn't like is that you can see the white on the sides of this, but other than that, I mean, super cute. And then we are going, oh gosh, you guys. So, yo girl needs some more. So I'm going to hot glue these. And this is when I I didn't realize yet. I didn't realize until after I was done gluing these on that, girlfriend, you didn't even clear your board. I was just a hot mess. I was super excited about these flowers, and I was like in the zone. And your girl forgot. Like, it's going to happen, you guys, but stay tuned, because you'll see what happens, okay? So this, I was like, okay, this is plain. Let's add her. She cute. But then as I'm holding it up, I'm like, there's a gap right there on the right. We need something right there because it's just not working for me. So I pull out the blue one again. I make, I think maybe like a 2-inch strip. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the bigger version. We're going to fold it hot dog style, glue it, put in those little slits, making sure not to cut all the way through. And then we are going to take our tweezers once again, start the roll for us just so it's nice and tight. That's why I'm starting it with the tweezers, to get a nice tight roll out of it. And then we're going to finish that off. And that is going to be our last flower. And it looks so cute. And I think it definitely evened it out with that other blue one. See how cute that looks? So it's like the orange is like that nice pop of color. You got the 2 burgundies in there, and now the 2 blues. So I think it turns out super great right here. Okay, you guys are welcome. Psych, we ain't done yet, you guys. I ended up changing my mind just a little bit. So you guys, was not happy with the color of this. I didn't think it popped. I kept thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make another stencil, lay it on top of what I already painted. Took the Nantucket Blue by Folk Art, tried mixing it up with other colors, but essentially it ended up just being Nantucket blue. So I am taking one of these synthetic brushes from Walmart, which actually applied it very nicely. Can't say if that was because there was already a base color or what, but it turned out great. So yeah, I'll let you see how I end up finishing this up, and then let me know what you guys think. Oh, and your girl never wastes anything, so I got a raw piece of wood and used the remaining Nantucket blue.
Look at how much better this looks. Oh, final. So it ties in with the blue. And it's kind of cool because the stencil obviously didn't match up exactly. So it has these like outline pieces, and of course that's where the vinyl was sitting on the paint, where it kind of like chipped up. But I think it's really cool. It adds like a 3D dimensional, I don't know, effect to it. But look at how cute. I am a firm believer, y'all, and I tell you guys this every time I make a sign, but everything happens for a reason. Because remember I told you I forgot to clear this. If I would have cleared this, I probably wouldn't have put my vinyl back over it, because it would have chipped the clear, and it also would have made my paint bleed even more because of the texture that the clear adds to the board. And this just looks amazing. So woo-woo, hope you guys love it. Let me know down below which one you guys like better, the blue or the cashew version. Have a good one. Y'all, I also realized that I can just cover these flowers up. I am just going to be covering this with a matte clear. Seals, protects, and revitalizes. So I'm going to be using this on here. All right, ready, set, and let's go.
And then this happened. Took the painter's tape off. It ripped some of the gold off, but what are you gonna do? Okay. So this is how it first came out, you guys, which you saw in the beginning. This was with the cashew. I had it on my mantle, and I just feel like it didn't pop. Like, it was still kind of hard to see. That is why I wish I would have gone with the early American stain, which I still suggest. And then that's why I changed it to the blue. So let me know which ones you liked better. Did you like the cashew version or the Nantucket blue version? I would love to hear.
Think about
My shot.
just because I don't want you in my photo. I don't have to go crazy.